Special products of polynomials. Opposite binomials. To multiply binomials in the form x plus a times x minus a, we multiply the first terms and multiply the last terms. So we'll multiply x times x and a times negative a. They must be opposites. Okay. So let's do some examples. So we are going to multiply x times x, which will give me x squared, and 3 times 3, which will give me negative 9. So my answer will be x squared minus 9. Okay, we're going to now multiply 3x times 3x, which will give me 9x squared, and 1 times negative 1, which will give me negative 1. Okay, 2x times 2x, which will give me 4x squared, and negative 5 times 5, which will give me negative 25. Okay, so 2a times 2a will give me 4a squared, not 40a squared. A squared. Okay, and b times b, or negative b times negative b, will give me negative b squared. Okay, so a review. If we have opposite binomials, you multiply the two first terms and you multiply the two last terms. You do not have to FOIL. However, if you do FOIL, you will get the same answer. So, let's try another special binomial. So, perfect square binomials. To multiply binomials in the form of x plus a squared or x minus a squared, we square the first term. You double the product, so we multiply x and a for our middle term, and then we square the last term. Okay, so let's try some examples. Okay, so we need to square our first term. Our first term is x. So if we square this, it becomes x squared. Okay, so for our middle term, we have to multiply or find the product of our two terms. So x times 4, which is 4x, then double that. So that becomes plus 8x. Then we square the last term. So 4 squared will be 16. Okay, let's review this middle one. So we find the product of the two terms. So x times 4, which is 4x. We double that to make 8x. Okay, let's try the next one. Our first term, we need to square it. So that becomes x squared. We find the product of the two terms. So x times negative 7, which will be negative 7x. Now we double that, which will be negative 14x. Then we square the last term. Negative 7 squared is positive 49. Okay, so we square the first term. So we square both 2 and x. So if we square 2, we get 4x squared. We find the product of the two terms. So 2x times 1 is 2x. Then we double that, which will be 4x. Then we square the last term. 1 squared is 1. Let's try this last one. So we need to square our first term. So 3 squared is 9. And then x squared is x squared. We find the product of the two terms. So 3x times -2 is -6x. We double that to make this -12x, and we square the last term. -2 squared is 4. Okay, so if we have perfect square binomials, we square the first term, double the product of x and a, and square the last term. Let's try a geometry application. Find the area of the shaded region. The large square has a side of x plus 5, and the small square has a side of x minus 2. So first we need to find the area of our large square. So our large square, the area would be x plus 5 all squared. So x squared, we square our first term. We find the product of the two terms, so 5 times x, which is 5x. We double that to make this plus 10x. Then we square the last term, so 5 squared would be 25. Now we need to find the area of my small square. So my area of my small square would be x minus 2 squared. So we square the first term, so that becomes x squared. We find the product of the two terms and double it. So -2x doubled will be -4x. Then we square the last term. -2 squared is 4. Now, I'm only looking for the shaded region, so I have to subtract my small square from my big square. Remember, when we are subtracting polynomials, we change the sign of each term behind the parentheses and then add the two terms. So we will have x squared plus 10x plus 25, and then we are going to subtract x squared minus 4x plus 4. So we need to distribute this negative sign. -x squared plus 4x minus 4. And now we can add. So x squared plus -x, those cancel out. 10x plus 4 is 14x. -25 plus, or positive 25 plus -4 is positive 21. So our answer is 14x plus 21.